just so excited. Honestly, I am just so excited to be starting this podcast because I really thought or felt as if I should have did this and picked this, when I was at the pace of, feeling like, certain. And I knew that I was supposed to be doing it or whatnot. But I felt like, God had to pull me back for a second. And not pull me back in any other sense. And he needed things to get better and get good. So that way, the next time I stepped into it and walked into it, I could do it with a little bit more hair on my chest. And I feel like, in life, that's like one of the key parts, one of the most important times where we should really pick ourselves. It's great and it's, beautiful when you pick yourself and, you're watching your bag get good. You're watching yourself elevate. You're watching yourself become conscious. You becoming aware of yourself. You beginning your healing and stuff like that. But, once you become healed and, you are able to, be aware of yourself, what's wrong. And you got to get to the doing, the actual being accountable part. And, not in the sense of just like, the basic things of accountability, like getting up, going to work, going to your classes or whatever, being an active participant in your relationships and stuff like that. But, in the aspect of like, having those standards, or whatever they are, because everybody's standards look different, but just having those standards set in place for yourself that you're holding yourself accountable to be able to, better produce what you already got. Like, that shit is hard. Because I feel like, like, especially when shit, like when shit was like kind of bad and it was fucked up. Like, of course it's easy to be optimistic about it getting better. Like, this is literally the lowest and the worst you could be. Like, you can't see it getting no better than the good that you at. And it's having that mindset of when it's good, like, this shit gonna get better. And I feel like, you can't really, there's no tactic in being able to trust that good can keep getting better than to just trust that. And I swear, I kid y'all not, like, life will throw you so many curveballs and loopholes to try to make you feel like or think that when you about to elevate or progress that you about to do the wrong thing just to try to keep you where you at. And honestly, I think that right there, this is what keeps people more complacent and more stuck in life than people trying to go from good to bad or refusing to change. I think it's more so the people, refusing to let go to get more. And it's just like that right there, like, niggas, everybody get complacent, everybody happy where they at. Like, when you get happy where you at and stuff, that having that dog mentality, wanting to get better, that's why I kind of agree with the saying, we all do got the same 24 hours. I don't say that to minimize we all ain't got the same resources, but in the sense of like, we all have the same opportunity every day to keep going for the goal with ourselves. We really do. And a lot of the times, a lot of us hit a bar, we hit a certain, mindset, a certain, stability, financial status, whatever it is with ourselves, where it's just like, we get so comfortable. It's just like, it don't get no better than this. But what if it could, though? Like, what if you didn't stop? And I don't mean stop in the sense of like burn yourself out, but like, you always felt like you could always do better. Until the day you die, there's every opportunity to do better, to get more. Like, what if you start looking at life like that and approaching it? So with me starting my podcast, it was just like, when I first started, I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to do this. I'm supposed to do right. Like, life is getting good and stuff. Like, I done went through all these changes and stuff like that. Like, this is time for me to do it. But then it was just like, I did 2 episodes. And then after that, like, I don't know. It was like life just hit this, like, I don't want to say like a pause. But it was like a break. Like, my whole life it like went on a break. Like, I was still going through the motions, but like something in me just was like, just stop for a second. And and me doing that, stopping and thinking, like, a lot happened, a lot of change and occurred, and it's just like, I had to really take a moment with myself and realize, like, it's one thing to like, tell your story when you like learning it and stuff like that. It's another thing to tell your story when you got it and stuff, and where you at, where you want to be and stuff. But to tell your story and to be transparent and be vulnerable and to speak about, how you're growing, how you're learning your life, how you're progressing, going into your old skin and going after the things you want as you get in it. Like, you're not at the very beginning. You ain't at the end either, but you're right there in the middle. Like, a lot of people don't talk from this perspective. A lot of people don't want to share this. And I just think that's because this is one of our most vulnerable and sensitive times and stuff, right here, like, when you getting into the mud with yourself, like, and I'm not saying that it's like people don't, share or express themselves or tell their story and stuff, but like, you know, really let somebody watch their story, watch them grow. Like, think about some of the greatest athletes, greatest singers, artists. It's the ones that, you know, we've got to see them go through every phase. Them the ones everybody rock with. The ones we saw from the very beginning, the middle, all the way to the end. LeBron, Beyonce, like, you know, those are just two that's coming off the top of my head right now. Like, you know, so as I get on this journey and I figure out how I'm going to keep choosing myself, keep putting myself first, I hope that it encourages other people to, you know, be in the mud with themselves. When you're getting in that point, when you're at that, you know, time, space in life where it's time for you to elevate and go from better to good and stuff and whatnot, or go from good to better, excuse me. It's time for you to go from good to better. It's time for you to really get shit popping. Like, you know, I hope that I can encourage somebody to find that strength and confidence in themselves to keep doing it, because, you know, it's the same shit, different day. You just gotta turn it up, because you the one, not the two. Hold love, not the brand come. So, happy Saturday, y'all. Hope y'all have a good weekend. I'm getting ready to do some shit, get the day cracking, and I'll be back with y'all next week with another episode of Talks with Tay.